Hello everyone, it's Harsh here. Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be based on one of the very popular Python libraries, Pandas. And for this video, I have an assignment which contains 30 different questions by which we want to achieve different tasks. So let's begin. For the first line, I'm just importing Pandas and storing it in variable PD. And then so I just downloaded this test.csv file from my local folder, and I'm storing it in the variable mydf. And according to the second question, I'm just printing the first 5 rows of the data set by this method mydf.head. Now as you can see here, initially they don't have any names, like column names. So what we're going to do is in question 3 we are going to create an array which is going to contain 5 different strings, which is going to replace the this numbers for column headers. So here as you can see, I'm gonna do header equal to none, so that will remove those initial values, and I'm gonna replace them with the header names. And here you can see the output, the header names are printed. Now for the fourth question, I'm just gonna add my name and student number on top of the data set locally, and when I print, it's gonna show along with the data set. Now if I want to skip that first row, I will just add this skip rows equal to bracket 0, which will skip the first row, and it will display the rest of the data set. For the sixth question, I'm just displaying the data types of all the columns in the data set. So 3 of those have object and the other 2 are float. Now for the seventh question, I'm gonna fetch the values of a column named value by 2 different commands. So first of those 2 commands is mydf.value, which is a dot notation, and the second one is mydf bracket the column name, and this is considered object oriented style. And here I'm printing the data type of the column value, which is series. Now as I mentioned, there's 2 ways you can fetch the column names, dot notation and OOP style. But the problem arises when we have a column name which has a space in the middle. So because of that, you cannot use the dot notation. You have to use the OOP style. Now for the question 10, I'm creating a new column named brand by adding the existing values of machine type and zip code. So this is how I achieved that result. The values of machine type plus the values of zip code, I'm storing that in a new variable brand, which is right here. For question 11, I'm making a new column named total by multiplying the values of range and value, like this. Now .head command is used to print the first 5 rows of the data set. .describe command is used to print the statistical data of all the columns, and this is a method which might accept optional argument, and this is a property. So there's 2 different ways to do that. .shape method, .shape is used to print the number of rows and columns of the data set. So as you can see, 951 rows and 7 columns. .dtypes command is used to print the data types of all the columns. Now .describe, this is .describe command which accepts a parameter that includes object. So it's gonna print the statistics of only the columns which are objects. Now I'm renaming one of the columns named ID to my ID in this command. And then as you can see, it was renamed, but it didn't affect anything to the original data set. To do that, I have to add in place equal to true, due to which it will update the original data set as well. Now, as you can see, as of now, these are the column names of my data set. Now I want to change them to this. So I'm just going to make an array, and I'm gonna use this command, mydf.columns is equal to new column. This will replace all the header of the columns with these names, and I'm printing it just to show you. As you can see, these are the names of the columns. Now I want to replace all the spaces in the column headers with underscore. So I'll use this command, mydf.columns.str.replace, to do that. Now if we want to delete a column, we can use .drop command, and we can enter the name of the column in the parameters, and I'm using in place equal to true, so it will update the original data set as well. As you can see, the column name brand and total are deleted from the data set. You can also delete rows, but you have to add x is equal to 0 for rows, because x is equal to 1, that's for column, and by default it's x is equal to 1. So here I'm deleting rows number 3 and 5 from the data set. If you want to sort values of data set according to a particular column, this is how you can do it. mydf, and I'm sorting this based on the column named value. This is one of the other ways you can do the same thing. I'm sorting the values with the same data set, with the same column named value, and using in place will update the original data set as well. And you can also specify whether you want to sort the column like ascending or descending. If you put ascending as true, it will do sort the column ascending. If you do it false, then it will sort the column in descending manner. Okay, now I want to display the data set based on range column which has values more than 250 and less than 350. So this is the code I used to achieve that. If the value of x is greater than 250 and less than 350, I'm going to append those indices to Boolean's variable, and if not, I'm going to append those indices as false to the same variable. And then I'm going to create a series of that Boolean and store it in the variable isRange. Now if I print isRange based on the current data set, it's going to print all the indices which has range more than 250 and less than 350. And now I'm sorting this new data set based on the column range. Now if you want to print a particular columns based on on this data set, you can use .lock method. So this method is gonna print only this indices that we created here, and only the values of two columns, ID and value, as you can see here. Now I'm applying more filtering properties. I'm only going to print these three columns based on this data set, and I'm going to add one more property, that the machine type should be equal to H. In this command, I'm going to print the values of the data set based on this filter, that the value of the machine type should be either H or R or X. And you can use .select property to exclude the data types that you don't want to print. Like here, we have 3 object columns and 2 numerical columns, and if I exclude object, it's just going to print the numerical columns. So that is everything for this video. I hope you learned something new. Thank you.